All right, guys, welcome into Charlotte Vibe. I am joined, as always, with my awesome friend, Jason Huber of WFNZ. How you doing, Jay?
I'm good. How are you? Interesting night after the trade deadline.
Well, you kind of just took my intro. I mean, come on, Jason. But yeah, listen, the Hornets are facing the Dallas Mavericks tonight, but that's not actually what we're going to talk about. Marvin Williams waived by the Hornets after a contract buyout, and MKG just waived by the Hornets. So which one do we want to start with? Do we want to start with Marvin, or do we want to start with MKG?
Well, MKG wasn't really in the rotation, so I think Marvin's the one that head coach James Borrego was talking about most pregame. Was they're losing a big leader in that locker room. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny because Dwayne Bacon actually tweeted and was like, man, not my OG. A lot of these people look up to Marvin Williams as an OG in the league. He's only 33 years old. A lot of people forget that he's still a really young player, but he's been in the league for so long. And a lot of these young guys, especially on this Hornets team, needed him because I feel like the identity of the team would have actually been lost if Marvin wasn't a part of this team. And it's crazy because it came out right after that it was announced that he was going to have a contract buyout with the Hornets, that he was going to the Milwaukee Bucks, and that is a huge pickup for the Bucks as they need not only his defensive presence but his three-point shooting, as he's shooting, I think it said, about 38% from the three, so the Bucks can really capitalize off of that. Kemba Walker was asked about that after his game, and he said, nah, the Bucks? Oh, man, damn. Like, he was actually, you could tell he was excited for his former teammate, but a little weary from it because that's actually his competition now. And, what does that say for Marvin, that he's actually going to end up with a contending team now, which everybody who's an OG on that team has wanted to be a part of?
Well, a lot of players are happy for him just because he was always professional locker room, never complained. He's been here for 6 years with the Hornets. I think it's just one playoff appearance in that time, but he never complained. He was a veteran guy that could have been with a winning team for the last few years. Played his role, taught these young guys, and as Borrego said, now's the time for these young guys who, while the Hornets are lost 12 of their last 13 games, they need to step up, learn and take what Marvin Williams has taught them and try to apply that into this team as the Hornets are struggling. And while this season may not turn out the way they were hoping, or it's not going to end in the playoffs, but they'll be able to really gel as a unit to finish off this season.
It's crazy because this Hornets team is just going to be a completely brand new team when it comes this time next year. And we've seen that, with the draft pickup and some of, not even really trades, but, just the additions of free agents, that it has been a new team almost every year. And I'm just curious to see when this Hornets organization is actually going to, I don't want to say it, but get it together and figure out what they're going to do. Now, we all know that MKG was not going to be a part of this team for very much longer. I was actually surprised to see that I don't know if it's that they waited longer or that they just didn't wait to the end of the season, because I'm curious to see where he will end up, and reports have came out, you've heard this as well, that he may actually end up with the Dallas Mavericks. But is MKG on the end of his career, or is there a possible way that he can be re-sparked and get back into a rotation, a permanent rotation?
Well, I was surprised when I was, looking up his stats today. He's only 26 years old. That's not even the prime yet. A prime in an NBA career is usually 28, 29, and because he was drafted when he's just 18 years old. So he needs to have, get rejuvenated wherever he goes, whether that's the Mavericks. If not, then yeah, he will probably, his career will be on, have a lifespan of not very long. So he's 26. He's got plenty of time to turn it around, but it wasn't going to be with the Hornets, unfortunately.
Which a lot of people will say, if you can't turn it around with the Hornets, who are you going to be able to turn it around with? And in 2019-2020 season so far, he only averages 4 points per game, 2.9 rebounds, and 13.3 minutes of action. So he hasn't been a consistent guy, as we know, that has been in this rotation. It took him, I don't want to say halfway because now we're reaching that halfway of the season, but halfway of the halfway basically to start getting some time. So I hope that MKG can land somewhere that he actually will be used. I'm really, really excited for Marvin. But moving on with that trade deadline, are you surprised that the Hornets didn't make any other moves besides the two of waiving both Marvin and MKG? Were you hoping to see them actually get somebody else in this team?
I didn't think MKG would get a lot of value, and I don't think they were able to, that they had to end up just waiving him. Marvin Williams, I really thought that they would maybe be able to get at least a second-round pick or something for him, because a lot of teams were interested. I mean, he signed with the Bucks, the best team in the NBA, pretty quickly after that buyout. So those were the only two moves I was expecting. Maybe Bismack Biyombo and something. I'm not sure if they'll buy him out. That's something you'll have to keep an eye on, coming up. But I was thinking that they could get something from Marvin Williams. MKG I wasn't sure about, but obviously they either weren't able to or they just thought a buyout was the best thing.
We also saw some rumblings about Julius Randle possibly ending up on this team. And I know in that trade they were talking about Terry Rozier, Malik Monk, and another pick I want to say. I'm not exactly sure. But I thought that was kind of curious if Julius Randle would have ended up here. But at the same time, it's like we're talking about Bismack Biyombo. They've got this guy, sent him away, got him back, paid even more money for him. So if they send Bismack somewhere else, they have got to keep him there. Don't bring him back because at this point they don't know what they're doing when it comes to that center role. So, you know, the All-Star break is coming up. They've got a few away games before that break actually happens, but they need it, man. At this point, I think these guys are kind of worn down, a little worn out, and I think it's great that PJ, Miles, and Devontae are all in the Rising Stars game. I didn't expect 3 of them. I actually thought that Devontae for sure was going to make it, but I actually wasn't thinking of PJ and Miles. Were you surprised that Miles was in that Rising Stars game?
I didn't think they'd have 3, but it just shows this is a new direction for the Hornets. There's been a lot of issues with them. They have never really had a consistent team. So the fact that they haven't made any trade deadline moves, the fact that you're getting rid of the veterans, they're going to go all young now, it's a different kind of plan than they've done in years past. They're not fighting for that number 8 seed every single year. So it kind of should get a Hornets fan excited. Like, it's going to be a struggle this year and next year and maybe the year after, but it's hopefully, as James Borrego said, I think last week, is there will be brighter days ahead, and I believe that, especially the fact that they're following up with that plan that they said they're going to do.
But are Hornets fans going to stick around for what, for 2025 for it to be, you know, brighter days, as well as is James Borrego still going to be here around those time of having those different types of down days? But it is going to be interesting to see. You know, you can see that when it comes to the Hive, they're missing some fans. You know, it's not a lot of people that are still coming to this game. They're definitely not packing it out. But hopefully, you know, that turns around. You know, we're going to have the Lakers will be coming. Philly will come twice in March. The Miami Heat will come twice, which I love that Iguodala pickup. I know that I just jumped somewhere. I don't know if you're prepared to talk about that. But what do you think about that Iguodala pickup? I think that is great for the Miami Heat. I think they're showing that they are really trying to make a run in this Eastern Conference to make it to the finals.
As you just said, yeah, I think they're going all in. That shows they're going all in. The only concern would be, is Iguodala that same player he was with the Warriors last few years? He didn't play at all this season, so how much does he have left? He's 36. But, yeah, the Heat are going all in. And it'll leave them with a lot of flexibility, too, at the end of the season if things don't work out.
Hey, you better talk to Vince Carter about age, you know. What is he, 42, and he's on his farewell tour, so if you didn't get to see Vince, you better find a way to see him. But thank you, Jason, as always, for joining me with your Michael Jordan expertise. You're amazing. You always are. Make sure you tune into Charlotte Vibe on all platforms as well as WFNZ. We're going to have the final score of the Dallas Mavericks game as well. Well, I was about to say as well as the Hornets, but Dallas Mavericks facing the Hornets tonight. That takes off at 7 p.m. All right, next time we'll see you. We don't know what we'll be talking about. Maybe LeBron James could be joining the Hornets. I don't know. Is that a possibility?
No, that's not happening.
All right, well, there you go. Jason's expertise. All right, we'll see you guys.